Hi. uh, Music always, obviously I'm here because I'm a music lover, and um, when I was really young, I forgot what grade it was, but it was had to be like third grade, maybe third or fourth grade, where they give you this tone test, and they'd play you a tone, and they'd play you a tone after, and then you'd have to say if it was high or lower, and if it was really far away interval wise or really close. So it's how they test your ear for its musicality, because music is really intervals and a relationship between notes and stuff like that. So obviously I tested kind of high because I was playing, I was assigned to play violin, which is a difficult instrument. It's fretless. You have to have a natural, your ear has to be pretty precise to play in tune. So that was really beneficial for me, being that young and knowing that I had the confidence to play a really difficult instrument.
Right.
So that was happy that happened. It let me really trust my ear, and then I started to move to guitar, and teaching myself guitar, and then a little piano, and I've always been a singer, and that led me to where I am now, and it just and then also having a good work ethic, which I think is really important. Like, even if you don't have a great ear, if you have a good work ethic, that'll take you to some amazing places and playing music for a living. But it led me to Device and other bands I've played with. It's led me to playing in Rock of Ages on Broadway, which is a really fun gig. I get to sub for, his name is Tommy Kessler. He plays for Blondie, but he is the guitar 2 chair in Rock of Ages, so I get to play for him. So just, there's things that happen when you're really young that can really shape what you end up doing as an adult. So that's why I'm here.
Project
Well,
Start.
I met David years ago, from obviously Disturbed and Dope days, when I was touring a lot with Dope, and I think it was probably 2000. I met him in '99 actually, when they first came out, and Dope was young too. I think we were both on our first record, and I was living in New York City, and David, it was after the show, and I saw him in the East Village, and that's where I was living, and it was me and AC. And then that's how I met David. We were hanging out at this bar named Niagara. In fact, I asked David recently, like, you remember I was hanging out like in '99? It was like 2001, I think. And he was like, yeah, I was at Niagara. He knew exactly what it was. But and then we did some touring together in 2005. So I knew David, not well, but hey, how you doing? Blah 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 blah. But when the whole Device thing started up, it was Will was already kind of in the picture for Device. And then me and Will have always been trying to play together for years. Been trying to get him in different bands that I was in, my side projects, stuff like that. Never could line it up, just it's hard when you're playing in 30 bands and he's playing in 30 bands. It's hard to make it line up. So see that sexy guy? It's my Tech Danger. Yeah, got the shirt off. So Will kind of suggested me to David, and David's like, oh yeah, I'll give him a call. So we flew to David's house, hung out for a couple days, drank some wine, and talked and kind of vibed out, and here we are. Well, Will's a writer too. I think talking with David, because I didn't write any songs on the album because the record was done when me and Will got into the band. So, but talking with David, we have the same. I know me and David have the same writing approach, which is, you have like a bed of music, you have like a cool guitar riff that you're really vibing on, and it's got to inspire you. If it doesn't, then write a different riff, do something different. It's got to make you go, oh dude, I can feel something in here. How about this? And you start going da 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 da. You start doing that, and of course David, he'd be going because he's all rhythmic. So and then which is the hard part, after you get that like crafted together, the melody kind of weaving into the chords and the progression. Then you got to do the painstaking chore of making those da 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 into words, and the words have to be good and not cheesy, and it has to have the right flow. And the syllables got to line up, and then the rhyme scheme is a whole other element to that. So that's kind of the process that I've done through my career, and David has as well. So I'm assuming that we're going to toss around some riffs, me and Will, and then David will get a hold of it and do his thing, and then we'll go from there. And then you got the fun part after that, which is, hey, what if you said that twice? Or, dude, we got to put a harmony over that. That'd be badass. Or, hey, let's have like a second guitar line do like a weird whammy wah thing up high. So it's a fun process, but it's difficult. It's not easy. But obviously it can become quite rewarding. I love Penance is a good song that I really liked when I first heard the album. I dug Vilify, You Think You Know. And then after you hear the music and you come up with your listening favorites, then you have the favorites that you like to play live,
Okay.
or you have your favorite guitar songs. I like to play Opinion. I like to play it. I like to perform it. I think that's a cool song for that, from my aspect as a guitar player. That's a cool song. So you have different favorites for different reasons. I love Penance. I love the song. I like to sing it. So I sing a lot of the harmonies with David. So I like performing that one, but I like to play Opinion. Out of Line's a cool song to play, guitar-wise. A lot of vocals for me to sing. I like to sing. But then you get to deep in the set when you play the single that everybody knows well, and it's just everybody, the place just is on fire.
Yeah.
Like that's a reason to have a favorite in itself. Just the electricity of playing that, and have people that love that song as much as you, and you share that moment, that you share that feeling of power. It's amazing. I'm glad you brought that up. I think it's really important for the awareness aspect of it. I have my own issues, just like that guy driving that car.
Right.
What it comes down to, what I've learned is, if you're doing something to yourself to medicate yourself, self-medication, that's a big it's a big flag that that you're in some kind of pain, or emotional pain, or trying to put stuff out of your mind and numbing yourself, like self-medication. So if you're self-medicating, and this is kind of what you can do yourself, not even with anybody else, really think about what you're doing. Like, am I self-medicating? Am I doing drugs every night of the week? Because you really have to be honest with yourself, and it's not easy, because if you're self-medicating every day, look at how it never turns out good. You hear about your heroes, whether they're sports guys or rock and roll guys, or Hollywood celebs or whatever. You hear about people with addiction, it never ends well. It never ends well. No one wants to be fucked up all the time and to numb themselves. So it's really such a personal thing that everyone has to really get to a level with themselves and be like, why am I doing this? Because on some levels that it's not good, and this can't end good. So that's the thing. If the more self-aware you are, look in the mirror, pick up a book. Why do I act like this? My parents sucked. Am I going to suck like them? Or am I going to rise above it and do what I can not to do that to my kids? I'm going to try to word this correctly, because I don't want to sound uppity at all, but I think at a certain point, it becomes your responsibility after you become a man or a woman. I think if you're a child, you're in your teens, you're in your 20s, you're a young person, and I think that you become a victim of your childhood upbringing and genetics. But then I think you get to a point where you become an adult, and then you can't use that excuse anymore. You have to really analyze yourself and be self-aware. So I think self-awareness is really important, and I don't claim to be 100% healthy. You know, I deal with myself every day, and that's not easy. And my girl has to deal with me. But luckily, she's a great partner. She helps me through stuff, and I do the same for her. So, but self-awareness is something that can set you on a path to be responsible to yourself and to the people that love you. So, hope that helps. Again, I don't have the answers, but my opinion, hope it works.